Hey everyone, welcome to the best show on the internet, the one that you can't stand but you can't help but listen to. That's right, it's the Tangent Podcast. Introducing my co-host, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, what are you drinking today?
Water?
That's right.
Welcome to the hot new podcast you can't resist, the most addicting podcast of 2015.
Better than crack. Oh, what a show.
Welcome to the worst podcast on the internet.
Don't forget to support us on Patreon and follow us on Twitter.
Give us your money.
Give us your money.
Do we even have a Patreon?
We
Probably
do.
Not. We do?
We do. I set it up.
I bet it's no money right now. Hey, guys, the 3 people who listen to this, get on that.
Only thing we're asking is that we can eventually get to the point by the end of the year where I don't have to pay out of pocket to keep the show going. That's all.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And if we got enough, we could, get better audio equipment and stuff. Even though I did upgrade last episode and got better audio equipment, I could do better.
I'll tell you this, though. It's better than what I have. I have my USB blue microphone with a pop filter and a little furry dead cat over it, and it's good. If I were to add it up together, it'd be probably $80 to spend together on just equipment.
I got mine for about $80.
Yeah,
but mine came in a package together, like everything.
Oh yeah, yeah, you bought it as a bundle. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
good. I was about to do that too, but I already had a microphone, so I thought, why would I bother getting a new one? I'm not going to do that until we actually get people to support us on Patreon. So if you want the audio quality to be better, that's all on you. That's not on us. All right? We try to help you out.
Yeah, definitely.
We're giving you the bone, but you have to help us out here. Go on Patreon.
You have to help us chew it.
Yeah, you have to help us. Yeah. We're grandpa on the last breathalyzer.
He doesn't have any teeth left. You've got to chew his food for him. Oh, I regret saying that immediately.
Best show on earth. It's like
a mother bird.
Be a benefactor by giving us $1.
Be a benefactor and support us like a mother bird. Vomit your money straight into us.
Just only one measly dollar worth of vomit into our, and you get yourself a $1 reward, which we shout out your name on the podcast.
Literally shout.
We're not gonna be losers and just say your names like, thank you, Andrew McKinney, for donating $1. Thank you very much.
Or even worse, just put it in the credits. That'd be terrible.
Yeah. This show was sponsored by Andrew McKinney, Benefactor 4000, Zulu Pachudu, and Hitler Did Nothing Wrong 47.
And they'll be like, hey, thanks to Dragon for supporting the show. We want to thank Mamma Mia 46 for supporting the show. Ooh, gotta give a big thank you to 2 nukes wasn't enough. Thank you. And finally we have Billy Bob Johnson. Thank you. He put in actually a special message on the Patreon saying this is a shit podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly, sir. Please let us have another.
Every week, if you give us your money. And make sure to make terrible names, too.
No, we're going to do it. We should do it like this. Thank you, Michael Jens.
That'll be you. I'll be doing a really over-the-top, come on, Jeffrey, presenter sort of thing.
Yes.
Like I just was.
Yeah, I think that's better.
You can do the, loud to soft.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. You go overexcited. I'll do that for the high level, $5 or more people.
Yeah, because you're a lot slower. Mine can be rapid fire.
Exactly.
So, but moving on from you giving us money, I want to get into our first topic today, which is music, and what we enjoy. But I'll let you go first. Okay.
So, when we're talking about music, one of the things that I look forward to is the function of music. I have set playlists based off of certain moods and what kind of energy I'm looking for. And granted, I'm supporting the artist by sharing their music, and after that, before I download it. So one of the things I like to do is essentially categorize it by what I'm going for. For example, I have a whole playlist dedicated for I'm about to go break into something. I'm about to go and, get hyped up. I'm about to go and, perform a show.
Break into something?
I don't know. I'm about to do a little bit of hacking, or do some programming. I have stuff dedicated for everything. And I see music as like a function. Because one of the interesting things I did, one time I did a study for a science class trying to discover how do certain music genres affect one's performance. And effectively I found nothing really of interest, and I kind of got a C for it because my findings weren't really cool. But I found more when I try to go through it again, I found better researchers that actually did an actual scientific method, and I try applying the same kind of music for certain situations. I listen to classical music, chill hop, jazz, but certain types of jazz when I'm trying to focus on certain work and aspects. But rarely enough I listen to music off on the whim. Well, it depends. Because there's only certain songs, whenever I'm online and I hear this one song that I'm really into, this one song I got into for about a good week and a half was Flamingo by Quiero Quiero Bonito. And
never heard it.
I'll just put in the...
Yeah, definitely.
So what about you?
But I consume music in a very different way from you. Music kind of... It influences my mood, but also I only listen to certain songs and genres when I'm in a certain mood. I also tie music to memories a lot. What's it called? There's a lot of songs, especially Daft Punk songs, because they were the first band I really got into, where a certain song will activate a memory for me. It'll bring back what happened because I listened to that song near that time, or it reminds me of that memory. But also that song I sent you in between the break about how I kind of feel sometimes. I've been listening to that because it's kind of how I've been feeling lately. But other times, for example, if I'm really angry, I'll put on all this music I have that's really, really heavy metal and stuff like that. But other times, if I'm feeling uppity, I'll put on happy stuff, I don't know, disco or just something really uppity. But also I can change my mood with music.
Yeah.
One thing that my brother has learned, if I'm feeling really down or angry or something, he'll play certain songs that he knows will calm me, basically, because it'll change my mood into something different. And I usually listen to music all the time. If I'm reading, I'll listen to music. If I'm driving, I'm always listening to music. If I'm not if I'm playing a game that doesn't require you to pay attention, or if it's a story game, I'll be listening to music because it's just, I don't know, it keeps me engaged and also it keeps me entertained, I guess. But also music is just a really way that I express myself. It's a good way, you can tell what mood I'm in based on what I'm listening to, basically. But I listen to music almost all day. So, and also I buy all of my music. I will listen to a band's songs on YouTube, and if I like it, I will buy their albums in CD form, and then I'll upload them onto my online and all that.
Yeah.
But I like to keep them all in CDs just for backup. If that ever goes down, I won't be without my music because I can just go get a CD player, put it in my car or something, Plus, I enjoy supporting the bands I like because they help me out so much. I can give them $10 for their album that I'll be listening to for years.
And I definitely totally purchase music. I am a avid listener and supporter of the music industry. I want to keep that clear. But actually, it's a little bit different for me because most of the songs I listen to are mostly meme songs or foreign songs.
Mm.
Because, like, for example, like the Quiero Quiero Bonito, I listened to that song, but you know what? I like the memes version of it much more, where they have a mashup between Childish Gambino's Bonfire and Quiero Quiero Bonito's Flamingo. I think I can pull it up soon. But there's obviously songs like Andromeda that I love listening to because it's so, like, there's a reason why I like songs like Andromeda, because it gives me a time to
From
just...
Gorillaz, by the way.
Yes, from Gorillaz, one of my favorite bands. It just lets
They're
me...
my favorite band.
They just let me space out and just enjoy it, because...
Andromeda kind of makes me sad.
Well, that's the point. It's supposed to make me feel like a certain kind of melancholy, but it's the kind of melancholy that comes with, like, appreciating where you are. Like, when I think about Andromeda, the purpose of it for me was that I want to feel sad, but also I want to feel special to be alive.
Mm.
Like, the kind of thing where it's like, well, this is not going to last forever, but man, is it beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one of the messages in that song. But like what he's singing about is, I believe I have the story right here. I read it on the Gorillaz subreddit, but it's basically that there was this like club near where Damon Albarn lived, the main singer, called Andromeda.
Mm-hmm.
But and he like hanged out there a lot as a teenager with all of his friends. But then it sort of went out of business in his 20s, and he's sort of singing about his youth and sort of how he's happy that it happened, but it's gone, and that he wants the place back, but also doesn't, kind of. And that kind of makes me sad because, like, I'm leaving my youth behind. We're both still young, but we're not kids anymore. It kind of makes me sad about that.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? But go ahead.
No, it's just like I can't help but agree, because it's so weird. Being 18 wasn't what I expected to be, but in many cases, I'm happy to be here. But at the same time, I kind of miss, like, for one, the cable that I used to watch when I was a kid, because like there were some of my old favorite TV shows. But at the same time, if someone told me, "Hey, Yjang, would you like to go back and live that time?" Part of me says no, but another part of me says I kind of want to, so I don't have to face what I'm about to face right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's the comfort of what you know, basically. Like back then, I would say my life is better now than basically my like the rest of my life. But even then, if I could go back, part of me would want to, because I know it. Whereas the future is uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of scary,
And because of that, I just feel kind of like that's what Andromeda meant to me. When I listened to it, it gave me the sense of that this feeling I have, it's okay. And it gives me a little bit of a like room for me to indulge it a little bit, because with Andromeda, it makes me feel that although it's gone, it doesn't mean that it's gone forever, because I still have it inside of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like in the like chorus of the song, he says like, "Take it in your heart now, love her," or like "love her," or something like that.
Right.
And I think what he's saying is to not let your past go, but also not just take it into who you are. Don't forget it happened, but also don't obsess about it. Just let it be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good message, definitely. I am playing a sort of anime game right now that I got a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this part was included in the recording earlier, but I'm playing Persona 5. I got it on sale because my brother recommended it to me and said that I would like it. He did say it was turn-based combat, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's pretty good. The soundtrack is really good. I'm enjoying the story so far. If anyone's wondering, I just beat the second like boss, whatever, palace, and I'm about to start the third, but there's like 10 or 11.
Right.
So, and I've been playing. I think my total time right now is like 25 hours. So I've got a long way ahead of me.
Oh yeah.
To beat the game. But it's very, very fun right now. I'm enjoying it a lot. What's it called? But I haven't really ever watched much anime. That's one thing we don't have in common.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad that your brother's like slowly introducing you to some of the good stuff out there, because I don't want you to see all the really bad stuff out there. Because one of the things about anime that I gotta say, that despite the fact that I like it, some of it can be like really like, when I think about it as a normal person, is like, yeah, this is kind of weird. Why is this part of our genre? Because, like, you know, you have like the whole little lolicon thing that I'm totally against, and
What's that?
Lolicon.
Oh, isn't that where people basically like make children?
Yep. Don't want to talk about it. I don't like it.
Yeah, that's
I don't like it. I mean, I like it when there's like, you know, oh, it's a cute little girl, that's nice, but it's just the people. Oh man, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck with a bunch of degenerates. Like this is where I feel like I understand where the courtyard kid stereotype comes from. Where it's like, yeah, this is kind of deserving. You're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I have noticed that in the anime community, there's a lot more, for lack of a better word, like weird people, and I think it sort of attracts it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's just the fact that because it's so niche, you're just stuck with them, because only the people who are really niche get weird because they're stuck in their own little subculture. But part of me is kind of like, here's the thing about anime. Part of me is happy that it's now becoming more mainstream, because the fact that you actually hear it means that it's getting really popular. And the fact that, but at the same time, part of me feels that it's kind of becoming like gaming.
Yeah, I mean, kind of in a way. It's becoming more popular, and like gaming, I don't have experience because I was young, but like when I was a very small child, you know, it wasn't very widely accepted back in the early 2000s, and even more so in the 90s and before that. But now it's basically
everyone games. You're
yeah, to some degree,
basically. And it's like, if someone were to say like, I think the word gamer kind of lost its like meaning. And
yeah,
because
like,
it's like,
if you think about gamer, and you see, someone said gamer in the 90s, an image of a person immediately pops into your head.
But yeah,
and I get that sort of like not wanting that.
Yeah, the thing about like gaming is because now that it becomes so popular, everyone just gets involved, and it's kind of like memes. And like a lot of niche communities, the more saturated it gets with everyone else, the harder it is in some way. I don't think it's like harder to find gems, but it's harder to feel connected with the community. Because there's more good stuff coming out every year, and I can't really complain. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to have that same kind of one-on-one relationship, saying like, oh, hey, have you seen Clannad? And if someone said no, you would say, I'm sorry, you said you watch anime, right? But now, it's kind of, but the thing is, it doesn't make sense, because if I were to do the same thing for gaming, it's like, hey, have you played Skyrim back in the day? I mean, not today. Some people would say, no, I never played Skyrim before. Or how about this would be a better example. If someone were to say, have you played Shovel Knight? Someone today could say, what's Shovel Knight?
Yeah, because it's more of a niche game. It's not as big.
But the thing is, if this was like 10 years ago, people would say like, oh yeah, I've seen Shovel Knight. Or say, no, I haven't heard of it yet. And then you can actually say like, I'm sorry, I thought you were a gamer. Because everyone's usually caught up
because
in the
it was
same
so
circle.
much smaller. Yeah.
I feel like when I got into anime, it's kind of like you slowly understand the medium you're in. But I feel like it's kind of, I would think it'd be harder in some regards for people to get as deep into anime as you could have back in the day. Whereas now you can say like, oh yeah, I watch anime. I watch XYZ. And you would say like, well, he watches anime. And I feel like, you know, when it comes to gaming and like Persona 5, or like mostly Skyrim. I feel there's this video from Door Monster or White Lightning HQ, depending how you met them beforehand. But there was this video called The Patient Gamer, where someone who doesn't play his games until 10 years after, when they're like $2. And that kind of describes who I am right now. I'm going to send you a link because it's super funny. And I'll put this in the show notes as well. But essentially, I'm 10 years behind everyone when it comes to games. But at the same time, I'm in the know about what's going on right now. But I can't do much about it because I can't buy the games. Like even Payday. How old is Payday 2? Like right now it's like what? 5 years old?
It came out in 2013, I think.
Yeah, I'm 5 years late to the party. And I'm just starting to play it now.
Yeah, it's wrapping up this year, I believe. They're going to finally stop doing things for it.
And eventually they'll just cut the servers by 2020, I bet. But, hey.
Yeah, probably. But what's it called? I mean, waiting for things is good and all. I mean, in the thumbnail I see of that video, he has some of my like favorite Fable 2. And I played all those, and I got most of them when they were coming out.
I'll say this. The most recent game I've bought was Tomb Raider 2013.
That's a good game.
Yeah. It's a good game. I can't help. The only thing about it, my graphics card and my hardware for my current setup can't really... It can handle it, but whenever it comes to QuickTime events, man, it's a pain.
Yeah. I remember having a bad graphics card like that. It's been like 2 years now, but yeah, it did suck.
I remember when
when I was a peasant. Scrub.
I remember what a time. How painful it was. Now I'm a god.
Oh, respect me.
Dirty 64 gigabyte RAM peasant. I have 128 gigabytes of RAM.
What's it called? But that's not kind of stuff was good. Away from our tangent, back music point.
Yep.
What's it called? My favorite band is Gorillaz.
Right.
What's it called? I think they're really varied. Humans wasn't the best album. I think it was okay.
Yeah.
But this new album coming out looks real good. I like how it is.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why recently, and because of that, they needed something to like start themselves off into the 2010s. So that's why Humans came out, just like to get their feet, get their feet wet. And I think this new album is just to solidify that yes, they're actually back.
Yeah, because usually it takes years between their albums, and it's kind of surprising seeing one so fast,
Right. And that's why I believe Humans was not really like they weren't trying to make it their best album. They were just trying to get themselves back at it again. Because when you've been out of the game for like, what, a decade? You got
close to it.
Close to a decade they were out of the music business. You barely heard anything from them. And when they just came out, I was like, what? And you know what's so funny? When Humans dropped, I was just getting into Gorillaz with their past albums, so it could have been a better time to have that album drop for me.
A Gorillaz fan like 7 months before, and anything was going to come out. I thought like, oh, they're releasing any more albums, and then they did.
It was perfect.
Definitely. Your favorite bands? It would be Daft Punk. I have all their albums now. I got, I think, a month ago. Mm-hmm. It was Human After All. Really, really good. They're varied in a lot of ways. Their songs, they really know how to weave emotion into a song.
Yeah,
I would say they're one that hits me the most in my emotions is probably Touch. Really good. Yes, it's such a roller coaster.
One of the things I think I want to say about your genre taste is I think you're more just an indie rock kind of person.
Yeah, I mean, like if I open up my music right now, I'll tell you the like few bands I listen to because a lot of my music is only from a few different people. I really enjoy Sabaton because their metal it's heavy, but it's not dark, and it's about history and stuff, which I enjoy. I enjoy Gorillaz, of course, because of how varied they are, but also because they're not huge. That's a theme you'll see.
Right.
I enjoy Caravan Palace, which I think you might have heard of them. Have you?
Caravan Palace, yes, definitely.
Daft Punk, of course. What else is here? I have a lot of soundtracks I like listening to. My dad played me They Might Be Giants as a kid, so I listened to them. They're a band from the olden days, and also shout out to my favorite independent guy on YouTube, Miracle of Sound. Been listening to him for years now. He's really good. Go
Shout out.
Listen to his stuff.
Put a link and I'll put it in.
Let me go find his YouTube page. He's real good. If I had to recommend a track, I would recommend his most recent God of War track, because he makes songs about games or movies and such. But most of his recent work is very, very good. I mean, his old stuff's good too, but it's really like nostalgic for me because I listened to him as a kid. What's it called? But he does all the music himself. The guitars, drums, lyrics, all the editing. He's really good. But I really do enjoy indie stuff, because I kind of feel most stuff that's really made by companies or big groups.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's just there to make money.
It's not real hip hop, man.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
Black.
It just it just doesn't feel like there's as much emotion in it. There's not as much passion, like it was made by like a committee, basically.
I think maybe the real reason I don't like pop music is because they play the same song over and over again. And it's like, I have the same problem with every channel that does it. Like, if it's rap radio, if it's, reggaeton, Latin radio, or if it's just pop music, it's just the same 3 tracks over and over again. And I don't hear a variety. You can't expect anyone.
Plus, with pop, like I said, it's usually the same few people, and most times their songs are written fairly similarly, because pop has to be upbeat, so you can't have any. I don't know.
Unless you're.
I just feel like I guess, but I just feel like a lot of pop songs are just blindly happy, without a reason, and it sort of turns me off, because like nobody's like that,
Exactly.
Not human.
And like the only songs that I can like, I feel like this is the reason why I'm kind of like, part of me kind of likes rap, but I don't really particularly enjoy it completely. I mean, it's different, and I feel like they're able to discuss more about how they feel, but most of it kind of revolves around, I make so much money, I have so much sex, I'm better than you, and you're stupid. Those are like the 3 biggest things I hear. And same thing for pop. It's like, I make so much money, I'm about to have so much sex, or I'm about to go have a good time at the club, or have a good time, blah blah blah. And that's how I feel too, about like those sort of genres, is that most times they're all sort of singing about the same thing. And a good example of not that is this song I'm sending you. It is Day and Night by Kid Cudi or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce that. But it's mostly talking about like his depression and stuff like that. And I feel like it's really human because it's how he feels. While other rap songs will be, like you said, about money and women and stuff like that. And I mean, those are human. No, I mean, sometimes I want to listen to it.
Overdone. Yeah, I mean, sure.
Sometimes I just want to feel like, I did it. What up? Or try it at me.
Yeah, definitely. But it just feels overdone. Like the entire field is doing that,
Mm-hmm. And because of that, I just feel like, well, don't even bother. Don't. Just, I mean, sometimes I get it. You're doing this for yourself, and you want to do your own thing. I mean, sometimes, like, for example, with the newest, like, Logic album, part of me just wanted to, like, listen to him say, like, I have so much money, I'm doing better than you, you guys are just hating on me. Because part of me, like, whenever I go in my life and, like, some people are hating on me, and I want to say that to their face, but I can't. Mm-hmm. But it's as we'd established, it's just overdone, and that's why I feel that I just don't like pop, and because I have a good reason to do so. Because the more you listen to it, the more you like it.
It's like Stockholm syndrome almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, I hear it so much, I might as well enjoy it. You know, you have no choice.
Yeah. And that's another thing, kind of getting back to what we talked about in the last episode. What's it called? I don't know. I've sort of like the stereotypes. Like I've been both of us have been stereotyped as like outsiders. So we kind of try to cling to that by disliking popular things, kind of.
Yeah.
In a way.
The moment someone called me a hipster is the moment I said, no, I'm not. And it feels like the kind of logic you use to say that you're a communist. But this is the one time I actually feel like maybe I am a hipster.
I'm almost certain that I am a hipster, at least to some degree, about certain things.
Remember the time I used to wear a fedora all the time?
Oh God, don't!
It was a straw fedora, and I used to wear it.
It was not. It was not straw. I had one made of straw, but I did not wear it. Yeah. Mine was made of cloth, and I wore it in middle school because I thought it would make me look good.
I just wore it because I liked the kind of style of the hat. I like the grandpa hat, and I still do. The only reason I don't
wore
wear
those?
it, yeah, I wore it in freshman year. Remember?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I did freshman sophomore year.
My memory's shit.
It's
you
okay.
know that.
You didn't remember your own fight, but
my own what?
You don't remember the fight that we had it either way until I brought it up. But yeah, I wore the straw hat for about maybe 9 months, and I liked it. And
I remember it.
Yeah, and the only reason I stopped wearing it is because my head got too big or my hair got too big. Yeah,
I used to wear a fedora in middle school, like I said, because I thought it would make me look cool, and I wore it every day. I wore it into class and stuff. And my school had a thing where you weren't allowed to wear hats indoors. But I eventually just kept doing it so much that my teachers gave up and just let me wear it. And looking back, I just cringe at photos of me back then because it looks so terrible. But I just hate it, and I hate bringing it up too. So
it's how we get through our therapy. Is how we overcome and make our character backstories better when we roll a d20.
Yeah, definitely. Also, speaking of that, I've never actually, I think, rolled a d20 because I've never played any games like that.
I gotta say, D&D is fun, and I wish I had.
I'd love to play it though.
I wish I had more friends that'd be willing to play it. Mostly because I haven't bought the set, and I don't think I plan to. I'll bring my own dice though. I'll make my own character sheet, but I don't feel like I don't want to be the person to DM, but I would definitely want to be the person to do all the. Actually, let's talk about our RPG preferences, because this is something I always wanted to talk about. Now, out of the 3 classes I'm going to give you, which one describes you best? Warrior. Actually, not 3. I should say 5. Warrior, Archer, Wizard, Rogue, and I would want to say Engineer.
That's kind of a hard question, honestly. Me as a whole person?
No, I mean, what do you, honestly, if you were to go back, how your play style, how do you go about it? What do you think is your...
Oh, sort of in a role-playing game, which of those do I play most like?
Yeah, in all kinds of games, because you can tell what, in role-playing games, you kind of play similarly to how you play in other games like action and whatever, or stealth.
Oh, yeah, rogue, definitely, but not a sort of aggressive one. I mostly just try to skirt around conflict in general and just sneak past things and get to the objective.
I go completely the opposite. I'm more one of the things I do in Skyrim heavily is that I will smash everything. I have my giant sword, and I get killed way more easily than most people do, mostly because I just want to fight everything. Because every time I fight something, I feel like I have conquered. I have won this battle. The thing is kind of, even for a while, sometimes I talk like I'm stuck in the Middle Ages, come and give me a round of mead so I can go and slay this dragon. stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely different from how I'll play. Like one of my favorite games, Dishonored 1. 2 was okay, but I prefer 1. One of my favorite things is going through an entire level without being stolen, without touching any guards, without killing them or even like knocking them out. Because I have to sit there and plan of, okay, what's my route going to be? I have to do this. I have to get this objective. And it's just a lot of planning, and I enjoy it because it makes me feel like I accomplished something at the end. It's like, wow, I did it.
Oh, yeah.
And plus, with sneaking, fighting is dangerous. So I'd rather just get the jump on my enemy and take them out in like 2 hits.
I get you. Sometimes I do it, but that's only whenever I get beat up so much. It's like I revert to using my logical brain when it's like, it seems like the enemy won't die when I hit him 2 times. So I had to think this through.
Yeah.
I was just like, why isn't my sword killing him right now? I don't get it. Have I not sharpened it? But after a while, I eventually figure it out. Or I get lucky and I use some kind of like, hidden move and then get the jump on him during the middle of battle. You'll see me hit a person and then run away to like 2 floors before you see me plan out how I should attack.
Question, because I thought when you asked about RPGs, you're asking about like what RPG style you like.
Yeah.
So what do you prefer? Do you prefer like Eastern or Western RPGs in general?
You know what? I think, to be honest, even though I have more like history with Eastern RPGs, I enjoy Western RPGs, or maybe I'm not too sure, because here's the thing, I enjoy more the RPGs like Skyrim and those kinds of like games, but at the same time JRPGs are way more organized. And I think
what do you mean?
Well, like when I played, for example, Final Fantasy, the turn-based system made it like, if I do X, this will give me Y. There's much more like combinations that I know what will happen. But with Skyrim, because it's more action-oriented, and even though it's still RPG, some of it leads up to chance and also your power level. So I enjoy like RPGs like that a bit more because they give me more agency to play as a player, but they make me think less. Whereas JRPGs make me think more and act less. And because of that, I have more enjoyment of Western RPGs, like, God of War, a la Dark Souls kind of stuff. Because it makes...
Dark Souls is kind of Eastern. It's made in Japan.
Yeah. It feels more... Yeah, I understand, though. But you understand
what But it's definitely Western influenced, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think that's the reason why I enjoy it, because it's like, I feel that my skill as a player reflects on my character, whereas when I play Eastern RPG, my skill as a strategist reflects on my victory.
One of my favorite RPG series... BioWare, basically, their RPGs that they make are some of my favorites because, like you said before, the combat isn't turn based. It's usually third person. So you still got to think about things. And in most of their earlier titles, you even have a mode where you can just pause the game and like plan things during combat. But one reason I really enjoy Western RPGs more is the writing. Because it's much faster. Yeah. And also I feel like they get some emotions down better because Eastern RPGs and anime in general, from what I've seen, are very sort of melodramatic sometimes, where they'll really go over the top fast, where a more Western RPG will try to keep things grounded. Like, for example, the Mass Effect series, like I said, your main character literally comes back from the dead in the second game. But even then it feels grounded, where in an Eastern RPG he'll come back because of he's special or he's the chosen one, he has powers. It's literally, this shadow terrorist organization spent $2 billion and brought you back, but you're half machine now, basically. and your character like has to think about that, like who am I and anymore, that sort of thing.
Right. And you know what? I think that kind of reflects like the attitude, because in America everything's more individualized, so everything kind of revolves around like the person and their personal relationships. Mm-hmm. Whereas with like Eastern RPGs is more about the group, or if you are the central person, they go really full in that you're the central person, because from what I understand about like Eastern people is that because they're more grouped as, they act as a collective more than, how it is in the West.
There's definitely more of a collectivist mindset, definitely. And that goes back throughout their history,
Right, throughout the whole history. So that's why it's like...
Compare like Socrates to...
Confucian.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, but my tongue got tied.
Yeah, and I think
they're
that's
very
the reason.
Different,
Because, like, if you're part of the collective, you really want to feel special when they call you this chosen one, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like living out a fantasy. Well, also, if you look at Mass Effect, that's my example because it's my favorite RPG series. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things is you build up this giant group of individuals and you all come together to do something better, which is different from the usual Western thing where it's the lone hero who does things, And I think that's sort of the inverse of that Eastern thing where it's the one hero who does everything. It's the sort of opposite of what that society usually does,
Right. I think
where, like, example, Skyrim is the sort of stereotypical Western one because you're just one guy who takes down everything. Basically. You might have like a single companion with you, but they're useless, and you're just this god among men who takes down people.
Which makes you feel good. I mean, I'll admit.
But it's definitely a power fantasy.
But that's the thing. I see that all the time. So it's kind of nice to get a refresher from Eastern RPGs. That's why I like them a little bit. But I still indulge in the power fantasy because regardless, I still don't get that kind of agency that I dream of when I'm down in real life.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And I think that's how, like, for example, I appreciate Western RPGs because that's where I grew up with a lot, even though I grew up with Eastern RPGs a little bit more. But I enjoy Western RPGs because they kind of hit a nail that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's your culture. Mm-hmm. You grew up in the Western world, Of course you're going to usually prefer that.
Yeah, so I think that just comes down to it. But I want to go back to my earlier, when I was talking about, like, RPGs. Because I think that playstyle reflects a personality.
Definitely, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Because when I think about, like, your playstyle, I was like, when you said rogue that plans everything, I was like, yeah, that sounds like Jeffrey in real life.
And as someone who just tries to skirt past everything and doesn't want to deal with other people, yeah.
For me, I'm a little bit surprised because, like, I think, I'm not too sure, but I feel like my playstyle is kind of similar to how I act in real life, but not in, like, the way you would think. Because my playstyle is like, oh, I'm going to go and attack this boss right now and beat him up. And you would think that, I'm a person that likes to head through things forward and get things done. Extroverted. But really, the reason why is because the reason I do it that way is because I don't want to think about the problem. So I think if I do it this way, it'll work out. Whereas, well, the only time I ever start using strategy is when I realize that my one strategy that I think works for everything doesn't. And that's when I start acting more like a rogue or a wizard.
Mm-hmm. So that's why it was kind of hard for me to choose between rogue and wizard, because I feel like I could fit in either.
Mm. And I think that's why I chose Battle Mage, because it lets me indulge in that kind of, like, whenever I want to just go ape crazy, then I can. But if I need to be strategic, then I can just, like, fall back and become a wizard. Like, okay, let's see. I have this spell. He has ice powers. If I use fire, he'll probably die faster. Okay, let's go. Mm-hmm. So it's not like my playstyle reflects I'm more of an extrovert, but it plays more to the fact that I like to think of the world as, like, I can do it this way and it'll work out, but whenever it doesn't work out, I have to become more nuanced. So maybe my playstyle just says I'm simple-minded, or, like, I'm really...
I mean, if that's where you want to take it.
I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to describe it, but I don't feel like my playstyle means I'm extroverted. It means that I just want to... I think it means that I want to get the job done as practically and quickly as possible.
I mean, to me, it seems like that you're trying to just get past your problems by just rushing ahead, kind of.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe you just barrel on ahead and don't try to get held down. Maybe that's it.
I don't know. I'll say
What's
this.
it called?
I'll say this. I think this kind of reflects like why I like have a problem with like math, because it's like math is so unintuitive. Because I actually have like whenever you get the problems, like yes, I can do this anytime. When you understand the formula, but whenever something new comes your way, it's like wait, hold on a second. I need to go back to the drawing board. Let me hold.
Yeah, and plus there's nothing like creative about math. Most other subjects, like my favorite subject is history, but that's because I love stories and I love telling stories too.
Right.
And history is just like a giant story that you get to read. But my other two favorite subjects, my other favorite subject is English because it's so creative. I love writing stories because it lets me express how I'm feeling, or just if I want to say something, it lets me be who I am. Well, math is just so rigid and robotic, or there's only ever one way to do anything. Well, I don't think the world is like that. I don't think there's ever one way to do something. There's always other ways. You just got to look around.
I think that goes the same way, but I actually have more of affinity towards programming, which is similar to math. I think the reason why I don't like math in particular is because it feels too theoretical, and for me, I think this again reflects my play style. It's like, okay, I understand, blah 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 blah. What's the point? How do I apply this? Because I don't. When it comes to money, I'm okay with using math because like. If I ever have to count change for like $100, it's like, okay, this guy gave me $57.32. I can do quick math in like maybe 5 seconds and give him the change, or stuff like that, because there's an end to it. But whenever I do like programming, I'll tell you this: if someone said, "Yjang, we want you to do programming for programming's sake," I would hate it. But if someone said, "Yjang, we want you to build a website or build a web calculator," I could do it because I know what I'm looking for, and I just like, okay, I understood this. How do I get to this? Step by step.
Yeah, there's an end point, but as I was saying before, like, I don't know, I really enjoy English so much because when I'm writing something, I can plan everything out in my head in advance and go, this is how I want this to go, blah 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 blah, and there's total freedom there, which is something I enjoy. I don't enjoy being told what to do. That's probably why I would enjoy starting my own business, because I'm my own boss. I don't enjoy being, like I said, like bossed around.
Right.
And when I'm writing, I can do anything I want. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about earlier in our music thing. I actually like have an instrument, and my brother does too, and we play together. But I only really play when I'm feeling something heavy, like when a lot of emotions come up or something happens in my life. I don't ever play music just to play music. I'm playing it because I want to say something, and I usually like record what we play, and there's almost no lyrics usually, and if there is, it'll be at the beginning or at the end after the song is over, but I let the music speak for me. I know it sounds probably really like pretentious what I'm saying and all this, but it's just kind of how I feel. But I kind of forgot where I was going with that. I just wanted to say it.
I know where to go with it. If you want to listen to Jeffrey's music, you're gonna have to become a $10 benefactor.
$10? That's a decent price, yeah.
I mean, our base price is $1 per month, so
yeah, that's pretty good. But if that does go through, I think I have like 3 tracks right now, and that's within like 5 months.
And we'll make an album.
Yeah, I'll make like an EP of like Jeffrey's anger and depression. There you go. Because that's basically all I do when I play music. Because whenever I'm happy, I'm usually out actually doing something and not sitting at home. But when I'm sad or angry, I usually just like lock myself in my house. Yeah, if you want to hear that and get sad,
with the sad boys. It's one of my favorite podcasts, by the way. Sad Boys. Shout out to Jarvis and Jordan.
I think that is a good place to stop because I'm feeling at the end of my train of thought right now.
Same here. I would go into more about other stuff, but my mind's on the best subject. My mind's on the best mood right now, so. Ugh.
Yeah, and I'm getting kind of tired.
Same.
So.
It's 12:38. I'll tell you what. Thanks for the Persona 5 OST. This sounds great.
Yeah. A lot of it's good. I would also recommend the 2 Miracle Sound songs I sent you. They're his 2 most recent ones, and I enjoy them a lot.
And remember, if you want to listen to all this, it'll be on the show notes coming down in the Tangent Podcast. Remember to look that up on Google Play or on our RS feed on our website at tangentpodcast.com.
Yep, I wouldn't know how any of that works, but do that. Thank you for listening to, I guess this would be episode 4.
Episode 4.
The Tangent Podcast. Hope to see you next time. Hope you come back for all of our depression and stuttering.
Yeah, come back.
See you next time.
Thanks for the therapy, and remember,
and thanks for your money, too.
Thanks for your money. Bye.
Bye.